In addition to us entering into the season of Shavuot as we round the end of Sfiras HaOmer, this is also upcoming the next few days, a time when Jews all over the world will be celebrating an anniversary. 50th anniversary, the Yovel year of the reunification of the city of Jerusalem. 50 years after 1967, the miraculous Six-Day War, when HaKadosh Baruch Hu, through overt miracles, awarded us the old city of Jerusalem, where we could go back to our beloved Kotel, the Western Wall. What's the connection? Is there a connection to find between the giving of the Torah and this experience that either we or our parents experienced firsthand? You know, there's a fascinating question that so many commentaries ask as to why we read the book of Ruth on Shavuos. The Sfas Emes gives us a totally new perspective. He quotes a medrash that's in Vayikra Rabbah, and it tells us something very interesting about the human part of the story about Boaz and Ruth. The medrash says, Ilu haya yodeya Boaz, shehakadosh baruch hu kosev alav v'vayitzbat Allah koli, that if Boaz would have only known that his small benevolent act of giving a small amount of grain to Ruth would be written for all perpetuity in Scripture, agolos petumos hayomevi uma'achila, then instead of just giving her some grain, he would have given her fatted calves. He would have given her a succulent feast fit for a queen. And then the Medrash continues, and it says that L'sha'avar haya adam osa mitzvah v'hanavim kosvin. In the past, when a person would do a valorous deed, the deed would be recorded for all perpetuity in the biblical texts by the prophets. Achshav she'ein neviim mikosev osa. But now that we don't have prophets, who's recording all of Jewish history? Who's recording the truly remarkable behaviors of individual Jews and all of the different tzaddikim and giborim who have acted in the forefront of Klal Yisrael to make us the nation that we are today? Eliyahu u'melech HaMashiach, answers the Medrash. It's Elijah the prophet and the Messiah who has yet to emerge. They're working together. They're collaborating on a multi-volume set of the future Tanakh that will be revealed in the Messianic age. And in it will contain the names and the deeds and the episodes and the exploits of all of those heroic Jews that are post-biblical in every single generation, who are remarkable for the great work that they did for Klal Yisrael, the heroic efforts that they made, the righteous greatness that they brought to our people, the light that they brought to the world. And says the Sfas Emes, it's important to remind ourselves of this fact, that when you look at the story of Ruth, if you're living it, if you're there in the field with Ruth, and you're watching Boaz, who's the landowner, you think that this is just another daily event, just some kind of prosaic episode in a very ordinary life, in a very insignificant and unremarkable point of Jewish history. But the reality is that this seemingly unremarkable event would turn out to become one of the most important and seminal events in Jewish history, because it marked the formation of the Davidic dynasty, which would sire eventually the Mashiach. And every Jew has to realize that we're not receiving the Torah passively, but we're actually contributing towards the writing of that ongoing Torah saga of the tales of the Jewish people. And I think that that's especially important for us to remember as we embark on the 50th anniversary of Yom Yerushalayim, that happens just a week before Shavuos. It's not just that these events happened. It could be that when someone was living through that time in 1967 and before it in 1948, they could have been able to say in the excitement of the moment, what's going on, what's happening. But in retrospect, when we look back and we see these were not just coincidental events, that Israel was able to take out the Air Force of Egypt before it could even take off, that so many coincidences happened that if even one of them would have not happened, there would have been no way for Israel to survive the Six-Day War. When we look back in retrospect, the Yovel later, we can truly say that we've been living Jewish history, and that those who were able to retake Jerusalem and to fortify our borders are really part of the Tanakh that will be revealed when the Mashiach comes. And that's what we should be celebrating. Not only the Torah that was given at Har Sinai, but the future Torah that will recall all of the annals and heroic deeds of all of our future heroes that are post-biblical. That's what we should be celebrating on Shavuos, and commit to ourselves that we'll be awake to witness Jewish history as it happens on a daily basis. And perhaps if we're deemed worthy, we'll even contribute to it ourselves. Wishing you a Chag Sameach.